Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. To follow us on Instagram, go to No Name Music Cast Podcast. To send us an email, it's nonamemusiccast@gmail.com. And to visit our website, go to nonamemusiccast.com. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. My name's Tim, and this is
Joy.
And we've covered a multitude of topics. We've covered daylight savings time when it gets dark. Tiffany, it's all going on.
It's true. So I may have had an event today where someone was wearing a Tiffany hat that said, "I think we're alone now." But they didn't. All they said was, "I saw Tiffany last night, ignore my hat." And it said, "I think we're alone now." And he said, "Maybe," and nobody really said anything. And so he said, "No, maybe nobody gets it." And I said, "Well, did you see her in a mall?" It's a good joke.
Yeah.
You knew. So with that being said, Tim, would you like me to start with my bit? I have 3 bits of music news that are absolutely bonkers.
Okay, you start with your music news.
They're all really, they're all very on brand. So this was a headline that I loved. It says, Courtney Love calls out Dave Grohl over public misconception. Now, first of all, Courtney, as much as I don't care for Dave Grohl, you might need to read the room a little on some of your misconceptions or conceptions. I don't know how accurate they are or what the term is, right, Tim? Mm-hmm. So your reputation in and of itself precedes you. So it was really funny for me. So basically, she has publicly challenged Dave Grohl to make a public declaration feeling that the Foo Fighters frontman has made a public misconception that they still have beef after all these years. She was appearing on Billy Corgan's The Magnificent Others podcast. It's always a podcast, y'all. Mm-hmm. When toward the end of the chat, she challenged Grohl to clear the air concerning where they stand. She claims they had squashed their previous disagreements over a decade. So basically, for those who don't know, what did Courtney Love actually say about Dave Grohl? She said, within the wide-ranging chat, the topic of Grohl came up eventually. The whole vocalist, if we use that term lightly, said, come on out with it and say we're cool. Come out with it, right? Be a man enough to man up, which is such a funny thing to read. That's grammatically how she said it, Tim. I know I do mispronounce things, but I read that quote 3 times and I had to bust up laughing. Now, for those who don't know the connection, I assume most people would understand the Nirvana Courtney Love connection, but if you're new or it's not something you know, that's okay. There's things me and Tim don't know. It comes up all the time, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how gas sparks work, so there's that. But with that being said, basically Nirvana's lead singer, who passed away, was in a relationship with Courtney Love, if you guys didn't know this.
Yep.
And there's some there's just been back and forth. And Courtney seems to be one of those people, Tim. I think that she doesn't have a great relationship with a lot of people. I don't think it's one-sided. So
no, she strikes me as someone who, regardless of fame, fortune, relationship to Kurt Cobain, or relationship or friendship to Dave Grohl, she strikes me as someone who just has issues. Everything is an issue. I've met people like this in my life.
I have to. And you can, if you've met them, if you know, you know. It's no matter, and it's always I always want to tell these people, if every time you do something, or every time you start a new job, every time you make new friends, or every time you get in a new relationship, it never works out, and you're the only common denominator, maybe sometimes we need to look internally, Tim.
Yes, absolutely.
Am I wrong? Is that not a good analogy, though? It's true. We've all experienced it. And that's what I give from her. Now, Courtney Love, this is all alleged. Don't sue us. Not that I think you're listening to this podcast, but if you are, so on and so be it. But yes, that's where the beef is. I thought that was a funny headline considering the situation. The next one is even funny. I don't know if it's funnier. I don't know if funny is the right word, but just ridiculous. All of these are just ridiculous. Funny's not the word, because when you hear it, you're like, that's not funny, but just ridiculous. So, Johnny Depp has that band called the Hollywood Vampires, and we talked about it.
Yes, indeed.
They're being sued by a concert promoter because they canceled a show, which I find funny considering how many times shows get canceled. And it does open up a weird line, right, Tim? Of like, can they be sued if they just cancel? Morrissey should
Well,
definitely be sued.
well, it depends on the terms and conditions of the
Allegedly.
contract, and it depends on why they cancelled. If they cancelled just because they didn't feel like it, that's different. If they rescheduled, there would be something, a different way of approaching it. But if they just woke up and said, nah, then there could be a breach of contract involved.
Exactly. So, for those who don't know, Hollywood Vampires is Johnny Depp, Alice Cooper, and Joe Perry. Pretty much. I think that's the 3 of them. And there was him and his bandmates are being called into federal court in Texas because they canceled the July 2023 show. The concert was slated to be held at the Olympic Fields in Slovakia, where the promoter, I don't know why it's made its way back to Texas. Maybe the promoter's in Texas. I don't know. But where the promoter is based. So the promoter is in Slovakia. Lawyers for the rock band are asking the court to strike the case, and since there was no legal sound reason for it to be heard in Texas. It is weird that if it was from Slovakia, it would make its way back to Texas, right, Tim? That's weird. Anyway.
It was probably a Texan promoter or a Texan tour manager or something of that
Some
ilk.
connection there.
Yes.
But the promoter the guy suing them is from Slovakia. So the promoter claimed in court that he paid the rock ensemble $277,000 or euros is 209 in advance for their performance. So I mean, he paid them money before the performance. I'd want that money back too. I'm not saying he's wrong. He said he asked for the money back. He got no response. The band abruptly canceled the show after pointing out problems with the location and potential safety issues. Maybe that's really realistic. I've never been to Slovakia. I don't know what their setups look like. I'm not here to judge. Upon arrival today to the venue in Slovakia to begin the setup for tonight's performance, it quickly became unclear the construction of the facility. Oh, they canceled the day of, Tim. That just dawned on me. They said the construction of the facility was incomplete and therefore unsafe for the band and the public. Now, that has happened, though. You've seen, Tim, where like stages have crumbled under people in other countries and different like things where maybe they don't have as many regulations or people checking up on it. So,
yeah,
maybe.
You see that sometimes at state fairs where you have like a high winds type situation and line array speakers fall over and stages all get damaged. I mean, there's thousands of people, temporary equipment set up. I mean, it can be very dangerous.
But then here's where it gets a little weird. They said the band was very upset by this permanent and unfortunate turn of events, blah, 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 so on and so forth. They're also saying, though, weirdly enough, Johnny Depp was hospitalized the same day they canceled.
Interesting.
So was it the stage construction or was your lead man in the hospital?
Who can say? I'm sure this will be settled out of court, and it's probably chump change for both of those people.
I was saying, just pay him the $277,000 back, right, Tim, and move on with your life. Why would you want to take this to court? I would just be like, here's $300,000. Don't call me again.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also am not rich, so.
And plus, the Hollywood Vampires is probably set up as a LLC, so they're probably not actually liable. The company it's a whole legal.
You
mess.
think Johnny Depp and Alice Cooper can't come up with $300,000?
I'm sure they can.
They're probably paying the lawyer that's handling the case more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably a retainer lawyer, right? Like when you hit those levels of, you know what I'm saying, Tim. When you hit that level, it's usually a retainer lawyer at that point. So anyway. On to the next absolutely kind of ridiculous headline. I don't know why. Music news is very weird today when you went on it. This was strange to me, and I don't know if you saw this. It says Lindsey Buckingham was attacked on the street with an unknown substance.
Really?
Yes. So, Fleetwood Mac singer, for those who don't know, a guitarist, Lindsey Buckingham was attacked on Wednesday in Los Angeles, which we're not going to give dates, but that's tomorrow for us. Buckingham was entering a building in Santa Monica for an appointment when a woman walked up and reportedly threw an unknown substance on him and then just ran away. Police described the woman as a stalking suspect, which Buckingham says he thinks he knows who she is. So that's probably an ongoing thing. The woman has since been identified, but no arrests have been made. Buckingham was reportedly not injured. An incident is under investigation. Are and so weirdly enough though, like there's nothing saying what the substance. What I mean, did she throw water on him? Did she throw ketchup on him? Like what does an unknown? Because I mean, it could be something scary. You never know. It could be acid. They could throw anthrax at you. They could throw like whatever. I get that, but like I always crack up when they just say unknown substance, but then they don't follow it up with anything. Did you just throw water at him? Like
I
what
mean,
does that mean?
it could have been a drink or something. You really don't know.
So anyway, if you did not on this lovely Thursday, the music news headlines were very interesting. There were no Morrissey ones. I was hoping for a Morrissey one, but I didn't get there.
I'm sure there's plenty if you dig in.
I'm good. Ugh. I'd rather not hear about it. But I do find it funny though, if for some reason, and what I was getting at with the Johnny Depp thing is if they allow this to go through, right, Tim, and they don't just settle it out of case and they go to court, it could open up an interesting precedence of suing musicians who just cancel.
Yeah, I mean, I think most contracts would have a pay or play type thing going on,
Yeah, for
and a
sure.
cancellation clause and all this sort of stuff. So maybe the contract was not bulletproof, which is why it's ended up in litigation.
Well, it's also the fact that it's across different countries too. You know what I mean, Tim? Because honestly, the UK has a lot more stricter laws about different things, but in America, it's much more easy to sue somebody. Like there is some litigation there too. So who's to say that that did? And who knows? Maybe the Hollywood vampires didn't do a contract. But I do find it funny that they went that whole article went all the way through, and then at the end it mentioned, well, it's really convenient. Johnny Depp just happened to be also hospitalized on the same day.
There we go. Maybe he had an ingrown toenail or something.
I don't know. With that being said, though, one of my favorite, I know you do, well, we've talked about this. Selena, the singer, not the Selena Gomez that's a singer now, but Selena from the early 90s, which I informed every British person of, and they thought I was a crazy person. Tim's talked about this. She has this famous concert where she was, I think it was in Mexico, I think. And the people started rushing the stage and the construction wasn't great and the actual stage started going up and down physically, like you could see the wood, and she almost fell through it, and she starts singing to calm them down, and it worked. She changes the rhythm of the song. She starts singing a very like melancholy, like trying to get them to calm down, and it worked to get her out of there because she literally almost fell through the stage.
Goodness me.
There you go. All right, well, with that being said, Tim, take it from here.
Okay, so I have one piece of music news. So, Deep Purple. Remember, Joy, we did an episode where I got you to listen to a load of Deep Purple songs?
Yes.
And what was your thoughts on Deep Purple?
They're good. Everything sounds the same to me. I'm not going to lie. But I also understand they have this very cult following and they have like very cool kind of riff. Like there is something very interesting and rhythmic about the way they perform, but it's not my cup of tea per se.
There we are. Well, you cannot stop Deep Purple. Deep Purple have announced their 2026 North American tour.
They have a huge following. That's my takeaway, Tim, is the cult following of Deep Purple goes very deep. That was a joke.
Yeah, I mean, they're all late 70s, early 80s. Ian Gillan is over 80 years old. And they're still rocking. They've announced all these dates through August and September of this year. They're not coming anywhere near here, as you would imagine.
Of course not.
But yeah, it's very exciting that they're playing. Now they have got a new guitar player who joined them a couple of years ago, Simon McBride. He replaced Steve Morse, who had some personal things, so he had to bow out of the band, and he decided he didn't want to continue touring in the same way. So they've got a new British guitarist called Simon McBride, but I mean the core of the band has been the same for a number of years. And they're actually planning a new album as well. I mean, these old rockers, you just cannot stop them.
I love that. I need to go see like a concert for them recently. But I'm curious to see the quality and the level because you never know. Some of these people like still sound amazing. Some of them can be hit or miss. I will say, from what I've gathered, I put Deep Purple in this group of like almost like ELO and things like that, where they have like this very rich. The people who love them, or even like the Grateful Dead, really love them. So I'm not surprised they're still touring because they have that fan base that'll come out for them.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, and on this tour, they're being supported by Kansas and Jefferson Starship.
With the world's worst song. What is the song, Tim? That's the world's worst
Starship,
song?
We Built This City. That's the world's greatest song. It's not the world's worst song.
Okay. I actually agree with Tim. It's not that bad. I don't know how he got that reputation.
No, because I remember when that song was in the charts and it was a chart hit and people liked it, and it's a scathing attack on their record company dressed up in a major key pop song. But at the time, it wasn't seen as bad. But like you see polls now, like, oh, we built this city, it's terrible.
All right, Tim, here's the question, though. We've never asked each other this. If you were going to pick what you think the world's worst song is, what would you pick?
I would, I mean, certainly from a rating on the ears perspective, I would probably go with Sweet Home Alabama, I think. But then again, any given rap song would be the world's worst song for me because I don't like that kind of music.
Yeah, but that's kind of more of a genre intolerance. If I had to, I know what mine is, Tim. I can go for miles and miles. Thank you, The Who. It's the world's worst song. It's a terrible song. There's nothing about it that's who wants to listen to I can go for miles and miles and miles. That's the song. Who wrote for what? How many drugs were they on? Like I have so many questions on the logistics of how that song even became a song. And what record producer thought, yeah, let's do that one.
Well, you know, it was a 60s, Joy. It was a big hit for them.
Anyway, so I saw a thing where people were giving this guy who was running a marathon. Sorry, I had to cough a little bit there. Sorry, guys. He was running a marathon and he had people submit their worst songs for him to run to.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really funny. But I will say he was kind of like, joke's on you. I like this. And it was like tiptoe through the tulips and stuff like that. It was really good. I need to pull up that playlist because honestly, I would have been like, nah, I'm feeling it. This is okay. They would have got me though if it went like banjo music or something. Then I might have been out. I might have been where they broke me. Or I've said it before, Tim knows this. There is a genre of music that Tim referred to it in such a way with a word we can't use on this podcast. It starts with a D if you haven't figured it out yet, of rock. With exception, I do like Buck Cherry, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, that Buck Cherry song is very good.
Brady, my twin sister asked me the other day, what's your if you had to pick what you would kind of, some people would find trashy, but you like it music wise, I was like, it's Buck Cherry. Anyway, all right, Tim, what's the topic tonight?
Okay, so I thought I would reveal, something. We've done 250 odd episodes of this podcast, and I've spoken about this many times, but I thought tonight was the time to reveal this. And what I'm going to reveal is my Wheels of Steel playlist. The playlist that I use when I play Moose Lodges and places similar to that. Songs that are guaranteed floor fillers almost anywhere you go. Now, a lot of these are line dancing type songs, but I wanted to once and for all reveal the contents of most of the contents of this list because we won't get to all of them. And I might pepper in some ones that you might not think that are in there.
We could add a secondary level to this and see if Joy knows the line dance, because Joy knows a lot of line dances. She is a respectable line dancer, and at 16 years old, she was photographed in the front of the local newspaper doing the Cupid Shuffle once. So, there's that. All right.
Well, there we are. Well, we will begin. The first song that we're going to talk about is a line dancing song. Now, I should say, all these line dancing songs I'd never heard of until I lived in the United States. These are all new to me. I'd never come across any of them until I lived here.
Are they not line dancing in England right now? Is that what you're saying?
Really. It's not so much of a thing.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one we're going to go with, that would be our friend DJ Casper, and that would be the Cha-Cha Slide.
The most ultimate. Okay, so this is the ultimate line dance because it tells you word for word what to do in the song. There's not one moment in that song. So if you're doing another line dance and you've never heard of it before, you might not know what you're doing. You might not. But the Cha-Cha Slide tells you word for word. To the left now. Take it back now, y'all. 3 hops this time. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it very much explains what is required of you.
The only thing that gets people is when it says the Charlie Brown part.
Charlie Brown, yeah. I know the Charlie Brown dance step. And when I play this, most people don't know the Charlie Brown dance step.
It's that back and forth hop between. It's literally the Charlie Brown and like the Charlie Brown, the cartoon. That's
Yeah.
what they're looking for, but people don't know that. And you get all kinds of different dances during that part. The other part is the reverse that people don't jump all the way around. Reverse, reverse, which sounds like you're playing. Wait, Tim, do you know what a bop it is? Does that ring anything to you? Bop it, twist it. No. Okay,
No.
so there was this toy in the 90s that was super popular for like 5 minutes. And it was literally like there's a button you could push in the middle, and then you could twist the handle, and then you could do this. And it gave you like a rhythm. It'd be like bop it, twist it. You had to follow the patterns. It was just like a pattern following thing. But every time I hear reverse, reverse, it makes me feel like because on the bop it, if you got to a certain level, it would reverse it. You would have to do the pattern back the other way, like that was the next test. So I always think that when I think of the cha-cha slide, but that's a very specifically nuanced thing. Now I need to get Tim a bop it. I mean, it's probably a very American, but if you Google bop it, you'll see exactly what I mean. It's just following patterns. It's not that hard.
Oh,
It's
well,
not
like a
rocket
simple
science.
Simon.
It is exactly like that. It was just called Bop It, and you literally push the button. There was a little gear over here you could twist. There was like a thing you could pull out, and it gives you like a pattern. You follow it, you follow it, and it gets harder each time. But at some point, it would go reverse, reverse, and it would reverse the pattern, and you would have to do it backwards.
I wonder
That's
that's
what it's
what
for.
I wonder that's where DJ Casper got the idea from.
I have no idea. Can we call him? Do you have his number? Hold on. Let me show Tim a picture of a Bop It. No, I'm very interested.
I see it.
I guess you've Googled it.
Yeah, I see it.
You see, that's it. It's not rocket science, but it was very popular in the 90s. But at one point on the Bop It, it literally goes reverse, reverse, just like the song.
There we are. Well, who knew that the cha-cha slide had such a rich heritage?
It's kind of like, for those who don't know, we have really gotten Tim into the Elmo Rocco situation heritage. Tim has learned so much about the Rocco Elmo from Sesame Street lore, more than he ever knew. Did you know it went that deep, Tim?
I really didn't know. I mean, it's so nuanced. There's so many layers to this.
It really is, and it gets used in like every time I see a new reference to it, like the Olympics recently and stuff. I'm like, "Here you go, Tim," and Tim's like, why is Elmo in this rock and why?" So many different. It's just anyway. So now you know about the Bop It. I'm gonna have to buy Tim a Bop It. Let's see how far he can go. I used to be obsessed with it and play it for hours. I don't know. It's a very random thing, but it's one of those ones that got me.
There we are. I once had a Saxaboom, but that's a story for another time.
Charlie would love that because you know who plays a saxophone?
Yeah, that'd be Jack Black, and that's why I bought one because Hannah wanted one, so I bought her a Saxaboom.
I mean, and he plays a really good saxophone. Jack Black does. You
And
see
the
him.
pattern he plays on the Saxaboom, they all have standard buttons on them.
Yeah.
And if you play them in the order like he does, it sounds exactly the same.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I've played with one before. Too. No, the one that I have is I have a oh God, the one instrument I have two of these in my house that I don't even ocarina, not an ocarina. It's like a little thing that you push and it looks like a music note and it has different chords.
Oh, and
my
you
God.
press the thing at the bottom and it goes.
I have two of them because Charlie, just like Hannah, has weird obsessions and made me buy two of them. Guess what? He never learned to play, Charles. Charles never learned to play those things. All he did was like basically pretend like they were a saxaboom and just play random stuff on it. And then I'd be like, well, here's where your C is. I literally labeled the notes for him. Didn't go any further, Tim. He played it like basically like it was a pretend saxaboom. And that is the most annoying sound. I have no idea where they're at now, but we got two of them in my house. All right. Well, Tim, we didn't get very far into this playlist already. What's next?
Okay, so the next one, this would be Swedish music. This is Rednecks, and this is Cotton Eye Joe.
So that's a hard one to say if you know the line dance to, because there's 47,000 Cotton Eye Joe line dances. They're not all the same. Depends on which place you're in and who's doing it. Are you at the Moose Lounge in Radford or are you at the one in Gayford?
And I would say, in my experience, people are typically not properly line dancing to Cotton Eye Joe. They're doing some kind of dance that they enjoy, but it's more random. It's not as organized.
Because no one knows which one they're doing. Like there's like 47 different variations of it. Also, I like how I called it Moose Lounge instead of like it's a fancy lounge. Are they moose lounges? Do you feel like you're in a lounge?
No, they're moose lodges. I mean,
I know. I just
wouldn't.
cracked up.
Yeah, they don't have bottle service, Joy.
Yes. I don't know why, but no, I will say I am a Cotton Eye Joe aficionado. Not in the sense that I only know one or two of the line dances. I've done a few of them. And when you go to different places, like Tim said, everybody's doing their own thing and no one knows which line dance you're doing when this comes on. But I was obsessed with this song as a child. And so I have very distinct memories of recording Cotton Eye Joe. We had in the back room of the house that I had when I was a kid. Sadly, this house did burn down, but I have very distinct memories. There was a back piece. My grandfather built the house and then he added an extra piece on the back, and it was like a very big sunroom. And me and my twin sister would hang out in there a lot because it was just kind of like a cool little thing, all sun coming in. And we had a really big, like the think the radio box stereo everybody had with the subwoofers, the silver one, Tim. It had like a literal record player on the top, had tape player, CD players, the same classic one everybody had in the 90s. Well, that was my recording off the radio record player. And I have very distinct memories of 3 songs that I needed to record. And Tim will crack up on this one. It was Rednecks, obviously Cotton Eye Joe. It was Chumbawamba, Thub Thumping. And then, of course, the last one is the Spice Girls. Those were my top 3 as a child. And we're talking, I'm like 6 years old at this point. If you got to think, this song came out in like probably 95 or something. I'm very young. But the reason I needed to capture these songs so desperately is because this is when I was learning to roller skate. So for those who would be very shocked to know this, and I can actually send you pictures, even though I am the clumsiest human person in the world, I was very good at roller skating as a child. Both me and my twin sisters were. I'm not good at riding a bike. I could barely walk, but I could roller skate. Don't explain that. It doesn't make any sense. But so when I was like, it's probably just because we learned it young. You know how that works, Tim. When you learn something young, you tend to be better at it.
Yeah.
But so about 5 or 6 years old, we had our Barbie skates that would go over our shoes. That's how I learned to roller skate before I finally actually went to the roller skating rink. And the porch on that house, Tim, was literal cement concrete. Like, it was big. It had a side porch. You went down the side porch and it did become wood, but because my grandfather built it, it was very old school. I'm sure that he didn't meet any codes or something, but I don't know. It had big concrete and it was big because it's like a big old Southern house, kind of think like plantation style in a way. I hate to say that, but it's true. And so we would bring out the boombox, our literal boombox. We would put it in there, but I had to record from the radio in the back room. I would record my tapes. I put it in the boombox to motivate me to roller skate, and I would practice my roller skating. And it was always Joe and Tub Thumping. I don't know why I went through a very big phase where I was obsessed with those 2 songs.
Well, both of them are great songs. I mean, Tub Thumping is a great song. I mean, that was mid-90s, Chumbawamba.
Yeah, we're talking. I was like
No Bacon, who was the lead
5
singer.
to 8 years old when this was happening. I mean, I had good music taste even as a child, is what I'm hearing. I loved a good Euro dance hit, you know. Probably Barbie Girl was probably being played a little bit there too. And then, of course, the Spice Girls was the other. That was another. But I distinctly remember actively seeking out recording Rednecks and Chumbawamba. Those were 2 that remain iconic, you know?
There we go.
There you go. That's a long way to say that but I mean, who doesn't love a good story? Also, that is how I eventually got really good at roller skating, and I spent probably 70% of my childhood in the roller skating ring.
See, if I have ever been roller skating, no. I went ice skating once, and it was horrific. I didn't like it. I didn't like the sensation. And then my friend's girlfriend took me to the middle of the ice and then brought me back, and I was like, I am done with this 100%.
So, I did not. So I used to be able to ice skate because I could roller skate, and some of the concepts are very similar, right, Tim? Mm-hmm. Very similar. But then I didn't know there's a difference between hockey skates and figure skates. Learned that lesson very hard. So when I was younger and I would go to ice rinks, I guess I always got hockey skates because they don't have, like, at the front of the figure skating ones, they have like this little ridge to stop, kind of not dissimilar to a stop that you go down.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to balance backwards and keep off of that much more on the figure skating ones. Didn't know that. Guess who ate it like 4 times in a row? When they put her figure, because no one warned me. I was like, I can do this. I've been doing this for like, oh my God, I probably was bleeding by the time it was all said and done.
Oh,
So for those who think you can ice skate, just when you get the ones from the little, because I even used to own my own roller skates. I bought roller skates. I had like the box. I decorated the box. I decorated my skates. Like I was a dedicated roller skater, and I was like, I got this. I can do this. I can. Yeah, don't. Also now, Tim, it's been so many years. I would be terrified to step back on just out of the sheer fact that I'd be scared. I did go like 5, 6 years ago, and it went okay, but I'm also like very top heavy as a person and not the size I was when I was a child. And that's terrifying because when you fall when you're in your 30s, it tends to be worse.
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely. The thing is, anything like that, ice skating, roller skating, skiing, I went skiing once. I do not like that slippy, slidey sensation. I don't feel I'm in control and I don't like it. So I will never do any of those activities ever again.
I can't ski, but I used to be able to snowboard.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Haven't
like
done
that
that in
too.
years. All right, well, let's move along. This isn't a roller skating podcast. So that is the start of that is the epic. That's like the, what is it, villain story or whatever they say it. The story that made Joy as a person.
There we are.
All right, what's next?
So the next one. So I don't know the actual artist of this track because in the Spotify it's listed as The Hit Crew. And I don't know if that's the original artist, but we are talking about the Electric Slide.
Was it a wait? Hold up. Electric Slide. Isn't it a woman?
It is. And the version on Spotify sounds exactly the same as the original, give or take. But I don't really know who did the original.
Hold up. That's gonna bother me. Because it's one of those things, because wasn't it originally like the Electric Boogie or something? It had like a prehistoric song to it.
Yeah, and again, this is nothing I'd ever heard of before I moved here. I remember being here not that long, and I was running background music and said, "Do you have the Electric Slide?" And I was like, "What's that?"
So it's the most basic 4x4. I could do the electric slide in my sleep type thing. It's literally just a simple 8 count with a grapevine left, stop clap, touch clap, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think it was originally so Maria, her name is like Marcia something. There's a female singer who is, singing the Electric Slide, but I don't know if she worked with the Hits Crew. And Electric Slide's one of those things that like everybody's heard it a million times, but where it even started, who the heck knows? Now, one thing that people do not know, and Tim may know this if he is doing this in his DJ set, the Electric Slide is a really long song. It goes on for a really long time. And if you have a bunch of people in their 30s or 40s who may have been drinking for a while and are trying to do this at 10 o'clock at night, a lot of people cut it because it's a long song.
Yeah, the version I have is 4 minutes and 21 seconds long by our friends at the Hit Crew. Whether they truncated it, I don't know.
I think the original version, the Electric Boogie version, not the Electric Slide version, is longer because sometimes when you get that version, DJs don't cut it and you'll be electric. It's not a hard dance. That's why I was pointing at it, just, front, right, left, back, whatever. But if you're doing that for 6 minutes straight, people who have been drinking since 6 p.m., it's not always the greatest experience. No. So for those that if you get a longer than 4 minutes, cut the Electric Slide. Molly's DJ, who I can say with full authority at her wedding, we do not care for this person anymore. And Molly would tell you that to her face. He didn't cut it. He did the original. He didn't cut it. It was a rough, about 4 to 6 minutes in, everybody looked like they were having literal hot sweats and were ready to pass out on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's not what you want. It needs to be fun, Joe. You need to come in, do your sliding, and then get out again.
So that's the moral of the story. I put the thumbs up thing, guys. I was getting so animated about this guy. But if you're gonna DJ, make sure you cut the Electric Slides more than 4 minutes.
There we are. That's some wise words there from Joy, because I know a lot of people who DJ the breaks at Moose Lodges are listening to this podcast. Well,
that's pretty much our demographic. It's a Moose Lounge, Tim.
A Moose Lounge.
I want you to start referring to it as a Moose Lounge. Every time someone says it, just say Moose Lounge and see how long it takes people to start catching on. All right, what's the next song, Tim?
Okay, the next one is another one which has a energetic dance that goes with it that has been popular in recent years. When I say recent years, probably the last 15. And this would be our friend Vic or VIC, and this would be the wobble.
Okay, so I have a very specific wobble story. That doesn't surprise anybody who listens to this podcast. Joy loves a line dance. Let's just start right there. I can wobble with the best of them, but I may have wobbled a little too hard one time. It may have been the alcohol. We're just gonna just throw that out there. I busted my word I can't say on this podcast so hard wobbling one time at this local place that is local to me and Tim. If you know Top of the Stairs, then you know.
Yes.
I was wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. And I hit that ground so hard, Tim, that I truly thought I broke something. And nobody stopped. Everybody just kept wobbling around me, and Molly's trying to pick me up off the wobble floor. And Molly looks at me and went, "You wobbled too hard." But that is the same night I did in actuality break my tailbone, not wobbling. Another event happened that night. So have you ever been to a bar or a pub or a club? I don't know, because in the UK they all have carpet, which is disgusting, but that had wooden floors. And you know what happens when it hits about 1 a.m. or so? People spill their drinks everywhere.
Yeah, it becomes, very slippery.
I went down on someone's ice, hit my tailbone that night. Alcohol was still in my blood, didn't feel a thing, felt great. Go home, and by home I mean Molly's apartment that's right down the road, because I was probably like 21 at this point, Tim, 22, very young. And she lives 5 minutes down the road for it. I'm sure we Ubered back home or walked. Anyway, I get back. I'm like basically passed out, as one does after wobbling so hard they hit the floor, and they're at a bar till 2 a.m. I wake up the next morning, sit straight up, and guess what happens? There is the most intense, most excruciating straight pain that goes from my coccyx all the way up my back.
Yeah,
so bad that I almost screamed. And guess who broke her tailbone?
Yeah, that's not good.
So the same night I wobbled too hard, then I proceeded to fall on somebody's drink and broke my tailbone.
Well, Joy, next time I play the wobble, I will observe a minute's silence for you before I play it.
We all need to take a moment of silence. It's just funny that night, it was a rough night for me. There was a lot of, it was just funny because Molly literally picked me up off the floor and went, "You wobbled too hard." I don't know why. It's one of those iconic things now. I will say, if you guys didn't know this, if you break your tailbone, did you know, Tim, there's literally nothing they can do for it. They just give you a donut and say good luck.
Yeah, it's like breaking ribs. It just sorts itself out by itself.
Unless it's so severe that you need real surgery.
Yeah, you need pins in it or something.
Yes. Here's a question for you, Tim. How many bones have you broken? Have you broken any?
2, 3, maybe.
Arm
and 2 toes.
Oh, I've broken arm, 9 toes.
Oh, crikey.
4 fingers, my ankle, my tailbone. There may be more that I'm forgetting. There you go. My appendges are very rough.
like I said to you, I want to just wrap you in bubble wrap before I allow you to go out in public.
All right. Well, the moral of the story is don't wobble too hard, guys. What's that? All right. What's your next song, Timothy? What you going with?
Okay, another line dancing one, and I think this probably concludes all the line dancing ones, and we'll get to some different tracks. This would be from our friend Cupid and the Cupid Shuffle.
This is probably my favorite line dance. I think as a whole, because it's a good balance between telling you how to line dance in the song and leaving some of it up to interpretation. It's not cha-cha slide level of saying, 3 times now, blah, blah, blah. It's like Cupid Shuffle, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left. Not kick, baby. It's like a middle ground. Gives you just enough information that you could kind of follow others, but not enough that you feel like he's demanding you do it a certain way. It's my favorite. The wobble doesn't tell you anything.
No, the wobble is more interpretive, but I think you're just expected to know it. Like you said, this one gives you some instructions, but allows you to interpret it a little bit.
Yeah, Cupid Shuffle I've done probably 47 million times in my entire life. But I remember when it even came out, like I went out of my way to learn the Cupid Shuffle because it wasn't there for people to. I might have used the YouTubes as people do back in the day. I don't think I have no clue where I learned the wobble. I think I learned the wobble because I watched other people wobble, and eventually it just came.
Yeah, it's probably what it is. You absorbed it by osmosis.
And the electric slide, well, people have been doing that since the 80s, so that was an easy one. Now, this does bring up an interesting phenomenon, though. I guess I had never really thought about what the level of people in England are doing to line dancing, but I guess it's not their favorite. I don't know.
In my limited experience of going to nightclubs and my experience of playing gigs where music is played and parties and the other weddings and things, I've never seen, or certainly before I left in 2011, I'd never seen any of these line dancing songs played or performed.
Well, there you go. If you're in England and you would like to tell us more about your experiences, please do, Tim. Tell them where they can send us a message. We have that email.
Yeah, no musicals podcast at gmail.com.
I couldn't remember if it said podcast at the end, but please, by all means. All right. Well, now that we've ended our line dances, I probably won't have near as many weird stories to go on tangents about. What is next?
Okay, one other song that seems to be very popular when I quote unquote DJ these events is Meghan Trainor's "All About That Bass."
That was a song that was super popular for like 3 months, and then it just kind of disappeared. But it does have a good beat, so I'm not surprised that Now, Meghan Trainor is an interesting person because she originally made her like popularity or made her money or whatever you say writing music for other people.
Okay.
She is a pop artist, but she wrote like hundreds of other songs for like the Britney Spears, kind of like Kesha, like, you know her for like one or two pop songs, but you don't really know her that well. Well, Meghan Trainor is known to be one of those people that can write a pop song in like 5 minutes. That really sells. So it makes sense that her song would do so well. Also, there's just something fun about the play of like all about that bass. No trouble.
No trouble.
Yes, no trouble. We love a music pun, right, Tim?
Absolutely.
With that being said, I have very distinct memories of this. Now, it's not about line dancing or breaking my coccyx, but it was that I worked at the Dish call center when this song was really popular locally doing IT support. Everybody's favorite thing, call center IT support, right, Tim?
I mean, it couldn't get any better.
And there was one person who was one of the I guess she was like an on-the-job trainer. She used to coach new hires kind of thing. And she would play music really loud a lot in the cubicle beside everybody else trying to take calls, which was super annoying. And everybody would get annoyed with her because, oh, great, you get to do whatever you want all day because you're training others. But the rest of us have to sit here and talk to people. And you're just going to play music. And guess what song she played all the time?
All about that bass.
that bass. So that's what I think of when I hear this song. It's a good song. I kind of got burnt out of it, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it had a pockets of popularity, but I still spin it, sort of, and people seem to like it.
Well, it's not surprising to me, though, that like I said, it's got a good beat, it's got good rhythm. I see how it could play really into what you're talking about. All right. Well, what's our next song, Tim? What are you spinning out there?
The next one that I play on occasion is Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke.
Okay. Now, let me start by saying I know this song is controversial for more than one reason.
There's several reasons it's controversial.
It was, the Marvin Gaye stuff, the music video stuff. The context of the song is borderline not that acceptable. There's really shouldn't be singing about blurred lines. If you know, you know. With all of that being said, I love this song.
Yeah, it is a good song. This was the first music video I saw on YouTube that contained nudity, and I was like, really? On YouTube?
I know. And in Europe, they wouldn't even bat an eye, but in America, everybody was like, what?
No one would care. But, certainly with my US-tuned eyes, how sanitized YouTube is, I was like, really?
Especially considering it was basically just women without their shirts on. It wasn't even that like intense. You know what I mean, Tim?
No,
But in
I
America,
mean,
that's think about Janet. Janet got canceled for less.
yeah, for 420 milliseconds or something.
That nobody even noticed. But take all of it out. I'm not even that big of a Robin Thicke fan. I think he's kind of grotesque in his own right. Just gonna say it. Though I do watch him on The Masked Singer a lot because he's one of the judges. I was obsessed with this song. But the reason I think I was obsessed with this song is, Pharrell Williams is the other writer in this song. And Pharrell Williams has really good rhythm, like the music he does. Now, me and you were corrected. Phil Reese wanted me and you to both know Pharrell Williams is a very good drummer because I said I don't know much about him as a musician, but I mostly know him as like a record producer, right? We talked about the stuff with Daft Punk and the Happy Song and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
He has like an ear to produce good music. And so that's why I think this went through. Controversially, I actually didn't agree that I thought this song was that similar to Marvin Gaye. I really don't. I still don't hear it.
I don't hear it at all. I mean, it was decided by a court of law that it was the same, but I don't really hear that.
I've heard Got to Give It Up a million times, and I'm just going to say it. I don't hear it. Maybe the structure is there. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm just not in tune with it. But I truly cannot. And I've talked to, we've talked about it. It's borderline. It's hard. And there's also the side of it, like someone like Pharrell Williams or Robert Thicke may have been influenced by this song they heard, 1,000 times like the rest of us and didn't even put two and two together. I don't hear it. I don't even know if they're the same beats, like BPM.
I think the BPM is different. I think the key may be the same, but the BPM is different. But I don't really hear it. But as I said, a court decided that.
But what I didn't like is the ruling focused on the feel of the song. Did you read about the lawsuit? I did, because I was like actively like, I don't actually think this is like, I didn't like the ruling. And a lot of it was the feel rather than the compensation or direct sampling, which I find to be weird. I don't like that. And it's borderline. And I know originally they asked for like $7 million and it did eventually get reduced. But I don't know. And apparently Stevie Wonder at one point even told them, don't bother. Like, this is a stupid case. Also, there is the controversy that Marvin Gaye's family seems to have a lot of mystery around trying to get a lot of money out of his estate.
That's the thing, isn't it? But people become sort of hawkish with that.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that songwriters, producers, publishers, and stuff were very not happy with the legal definition of copyright infringement in this case, because really it came down to there wasn't like an analysis of the music, right, Tim? Like maybe the BPMs are different. I'm assuming they are, because I think they are when I think about the way they're, but maybe the melody was similar. How many other songs have similar melody? I don't know. I will get off my soapbox, but I love this song. I didn't like the topic, but I love the beat. I could deal without the lyrics because I know they are controversial, but I liked it and I could listen to it a million times over. And I controversially just don't think it sounds like Gotta Give It Up. I just don't hear it.
No.
There are other bands. I had a whole conversation today about how Kid Rock stole Werewolves in London for 20 minutes. That I hear. This I don't hear.
Well, it's basically exactly the same.
That one is the exact same, and it makes me angry every time that song comes on. But anyway. All right. What's next, Tim?
Okay, so you'll be pleased with this one. This is one that I spin on a regular basis. This would be Stephanie Gaga and Poker Face.
So, which is like me and Tim have talked about, is Ma Baker, if you didn't know. I didn't know it. Good old Lady Gaga over here. I will say, I was not controversially when Lady Gaga first came out, Tim, I wasn't a fan. And I will explain why. She has said this ad nauseum. She kind of played into what was popular at the moment. Like she admits Poker Face, Just Dance, she wrote in like 2 minutes. She knows they're not like, you know what I mean, Tim? She knows they're not these great music pieces or whatever. But she literally actively says she did it because she knew it was a robotic hook with a chorus that would make her famous. And then once she got past this album, she could start making the music she wanted.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong. She played the business. A lot of artists have done it. I think Miley Cyrus is another example of somebody who did that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose she's playing the game. But as I said to you before, Lady Gaga generally, what I know about her and what you've told me about her, I'm just incredibly underwhelmed by the music she makes. It doesn't, for what I've been told and what I know about her, it's kind of just like meh to me.
I love some of her music. I really do. Some of it is meh. I'm not going to say it's not, but there are some like I absolutely adore a lot of her most recent. But when she was doing like the Monster Ball in her original tour, I wasn't a fan because this was very much just synthetic pop music that people dance to, which makes sense why it's in this playlist, Tim. I get it. But it was never my favorite. It was only when she got past this in the early, like in the late 2000s, she started doing some other stuff that I really got into her. And it felt like, now she is one of those people, Tim, and we've talked about this with Miley Cyrus. She could sing the record book. Like she has a great voice live, can sing anything and everything, just like Kelly Clarkson can. Mm-hmm. And so that is another thing. But you also have to remember, people forget that she literally went to Juilliard. Like she's classically trained as a musician. People don't realize that because they associate her with things like Poker Face. Yeah. So that plays into it as well. But yeah, I am happy she made your list, and that doesn't surprise me because this song was everywhere in 2008. I don't know if that was an American phenomenon or not, but it was everywhere.
There we go.
There you go. Or maybe it wasn't actually Juilliard. I think it was the Tush Music, whatever the other music one in New York is. But you know what I'm saying. Yes. Classically trained. All right. What's the next one, Tim?
Okay. This is the song Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO.
Another song that was everywhere for 5 minutes. Now, here's the question, Tim. Had you ever heard this before?
No, I'd never heard of it until I heard DJs playing it in nightclubs, so I decided that I would add it to my list.
That's hilarious. Do you know any other LMFAO songs, Tim?
Not in the slightest. I don't know who they are.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure I know who they are either. It's two guys who did like 3 songs for like 5 minutes that were super popular. They did that other, what is it? Oh, God. I can't think of that other song that was everywhere. Party Rock. Party Rock is in the house tonight. That was another one that I'm surprised is not on your. You need to write it down, Tim. You need to add Party Rock, LMFAO on your list because that one would go really well too.
Okay, I'll add it to my to-listen playlist. Maybe I don't know.
To be fair with you, Tim, though, it's basically the exact same song that you're talking about, just wrapped up and packaged in a different way. They had a very specific sound. I'm surprised you haven't heard Party Rock because I would think that one would come up as well.
I don't know. I was listening, Joy, to an episode that posted today because I always proof listen to them at work. And it was the one where you was going through like hits from like 2000 onwards. And I was laughing to myself at my own replies because I have no idea who any of these people are. And then I remember your sister pinged me one time and said, I'm really impressed with how you can live under a rock and never get exposed to stuff.
I just it's so funny because I knew that's exactly what that episode was going to be. Like, I gave Tim a warning. I was like, you're probably not going to know any of this. To be fair, Brady wrote me and was like, you really don't know Olivia Dean? I was like, that sounds like a person I went to school with. No, I don't. I saw one of her songs on like a TikTok video, and that's about the extent. I don't know. Olivia Dean is just a name. Did I hire her last week to work in my office? I don't know.
I think I went to school with Olivia Dean at Lambton School.
Exactly. It sounds so. I have the funniest thing to tell you. So you were talking about Meghan Trainor earlier. She was doing you know how I think it's Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon had where people would read me tweets that people would put out about them.
Yeah.
And one of them was Meghan Trainor seems like a person that I went to high school with and works at the local mall and somehow just happened to get famous. That's how I feel about Olivia Dean as well. I can't take that name seriously. I don't know why. I don't know anything about her.
There was a British pop singer called Hazel Dean in the 80s.
Maybe they're cousins.
And maybe Olivia Dean is Hazel Dean's daughter. I have no idea.
Well, anyway, if you know, please tell us because we don't. There was one song that she did that I have heard because it was like, but I didn't hear it for like I seeked it out, Tim. Like it was like people were sharing videos, like a trend on the internet with it playing in the background. But that's the extent of my Olivia Dean knowledge. All right. Well, with that being said, Tim, what's next on our DJ playlist?
Okay, so this is The Weeknd, who obviously one of their weaknesses of The Weeknd is they can't spell because it's missing an E. And this is the song "Can't Feel My Face."
Well, to be fair with The Weeknd, the song is about drugs, so maybe that went into.
See, I didn't. Song, I have no idea what it's about.
Well, it says I can't feel my face when I'm with you, but there's part. He says I know she'll be the death of me. We'll both be numb. She'll always get the best of me. The worst is yet to come. So it sounds like he's singing about a woman, but I've heard he's actually singing about drugs. Specifically,
I honestly thought it was a song about domestic abuse. Whenever I hear it, I was like, "This is terrible."
Well, apparently, it's up for a lot of interpretation.
I don't know.
I've heard it. It's about heroin. I can't feel my face when I'm with you. I can't. I've never went down that radio hole. Now, mind you, guess who produced the song though, Tim?
I have no idea.
Swedish pop. It's Max Martin, the guy that did all the 90s music, which is probably also why it sounds almost. So The Weeknd has been, I don't know if I agree with it, but a lot of people talk about he does kind of sound almost like it almost sounds like a Michael Jackson song in a way or something along those lines. But I think it's just because it's produced by Max Martin. He knows a hit when he hears one.
It's somebody who has standard templates in Logic. It's like, let's load these templates and see what we come up with.
Pretty much. I mean, it's not even a joke, though. Like, he could, he did he's Swedish pop royalty at this point for the 90s. But he also did the song Blinding Lights and a few other, I Feel It Coming On. But this one specifically, I have heard that there's a reference to drugs. So maybe that's where the name comes from as well.
It could be. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, that was my conclusion from cursory listens whilst deciding what next disco song to play.
That's fair. It's a great song, though. It really is. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a song I actually like The Weeknd a lot. He's a talented musician. His voice sounds great. He does have kind of like, good like R&B kind of sound to him. But yeah, that's what I've heard. Can't confirm or deny. Don't come for me, internet. I haven't spoken with The Weeknd to ask if that's true.
There we are.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, but the girl is the drug addiction.
There we are. See, I've learned something today, Joy.
Songwriters, man. Okay, now I gotta Google it. Let's see if I'm right. Now I want to know, Tim. I want to know. All right, The Weeknd.
Live on air, Joy is gonna get this done, so we know once and for all.
It's primarily about a toxic, addictive relationship with cocaine.
There you go.
I thought it was heroin. Disguised as a pop-driven love song, the lyrics are metaphors for numbness and the inescapability devoted to drug addiction, with the girl in the song acting as the personification of the drug.
See, I didn't know that.
You'll never hear it the same way again. I mean, but that's good songwriting, though, Tim. It's not like he's the first person to use a girl as a reference to drugs and music. I mean, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is not about a child. With that being said, what's next?
Okay, so this is a song I haven't played for a while. I quote unquote, DJ'd the break of a gig at a Moose Lounge recently, and I didn't play this, but it's one I played in the past that people liked. This is by Silento, and this is Watch Me Whip Stroke Nay Nay.
Is that who sings that?
Yeah. Watch
Me Whip, now watch me Nay. That song, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was Willow. I thought that was.
This says Silento.
Huh. I thought that song was by what's the artist? What's the actor's name? Will Smith's daughter, Willow Smith. Wait, Watch Me Whip. Have I been wrong my entire? Oh, yes, it is.
I mean, Willow Smith could have appeared on it, but certainly, as we're using the gold standard of the Spotify, and when Willow Smith is not mentioned.
Well, I Googled it. It does say Silento. Have I been wrong my entire life? Why did I think that was Willow Smith?
I don't know.
Am I losing my mind?
It was composed by Timothy Mingo.
I'm thinking about I'll whip my hair back and forth. That's another song about whipping your hair. Different song, different song. I've definitely heard this song before. It's not a song I would seek out and or ever want to hear. It's
No,
not up my
I would
forte at
never listen
all.
to this recreationally ever.
I mean, it sounds like a song that should have been written about a horse. So, like, let's start there. It's not my favorite.
Maybe it's an equestrian classic. I don't know.
There is a dance to this one. I don't know it. I'm never going to do it. Don't ever want to find out. But there is some type of dance to this one, Tim. I know that. And I don't know who Salento is, but I thought this entire time it was Willow Smith. And then I realized she just did that other, I whip my hair back and forth. That's the extent of what I know about Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay is I thought it was about a horse and or Willow Smith was singing. All right, what's next?
Okay, so this is one for Miss Catherine Hudson and her song "Dark Horse." Now, this isn't sort of dancey enough. I play it occasionally because it's Katy Perry, but I do play it once in a while.
Yeah, but it's got that really cool. I don't know if it's like a bass line or like a groove to it. It does have a cool like sound. So depending on the vibes, if people weren't really wanting to, like the "So you want to play with magic, boy, don't you know let you go." That part, like that kind of vibe, is kind of cool. So if people weren't like actively up dancing, I think it could go well. It could throw people off if they really wanted to dance, though. I'll give you that.
Yeah, the only thing is the line when she says, "Do you want to play with magic?" I
Yeah.
always hear it as, "Do you want to play with my Jake?"
I think it's just because she's emphasizing the how they always a lot of pop songs they emphasize the vowels instead of the consonants. It's probably
Yeah, but I
that.
always think, "Do you want to play with my Jake?" So, like, was it like a little brother Jake or like her lover Jake? Come on and play with Jake; it'll be great.
But do you know what you're falling for? I don't know what Jake's falling for, but baby, do you dare to do this? I do this song, and this song was everywhere. The music video was kind of cool too. Did you ever see the music video, Tim?
Yeah, and it was the first Katy Perry video to get 1 billion views on YouTube.
Yep, it's for those who haven't seen it. It's like the Egyptian kind of Cleopatra thing. You've got the eye and the different things. I love this song. I like the song from Katy Perry. I know not everybody did because it's when she kind of jumped the shark a little bit. This is where she started getting a little bit different.
Well, the
But I
whole of
like
the
the
Prism
song.
album is more sort of dance orientated, whereas before it being sort of rock pop orientated.
For sure.
The other thing, there was some controversy over the video where, like, some of the jewelry used in the video had things written in Arabic, and it was seen as offensive in some way. So they had to go back and digitally and either remove it or correct it.
Interesting. And then the irony of that is like it's not like I always thought, Egyptian, but that doesn't mean Muslim, right? Like those are two very different. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. Or Arabic, I guess, in this case. I could see how that would be interesting.
Yeah, so they had to go in after the fact and do some digital work on it to make it more palatable for everyone.
And this album is the one where she did Roar, of course, which everybody knows.
Yes.
And then Unconditionally, which is a great song. It was a great song. This is about though where I think she started to like change her vibes, this album.
Yeah, it was. Prism was the point where it changed. I mean, I
Yep.
like Prism. Anything post Prism, I'm not really keen on it with Katy Perry. One of the Boys is fantastic.
I loved like Tim. I was a big Kate Hudson, whatever you want to call her, a fan. I loved original Katy Perry. It felt like at some point in time she literally just jumped the shark,
Well,
for
well
lack
she,
of a better
she
term.
she jumped the bank balance because she needed to continue making lots of money, and so she changed her sound so she could continue her success.
That one song that was like the Bon Appetit one, where like people were literally eating. Oh my God, that song was like one of the world's worst songs I've ever heard. Period. I wouldn't have even thought it was Katy Perry if someone hadn't like if I hadn't known it was her. Cause see, I loved like last TGI Friday, like I loved Last Friday Night. I loved Teenage Dream. I loved California Girl. I loved Roar, Dark Horse. I was a fan. I will say I got burnt out of I Kissed a Girl when it first came out because it was everywhere for 5 minutes. Firework kind of got a little bit annoying, but her old, like, I loved all of it. And like Teenage Dream, that whole album was one of the best albums, I swear, that ever existed.
Yeah, it's good.
So,
I have a CD copy of that album.
it's a great album. I feel like Teenage Dream solidifies like what she was really good at one point.
Hmm.
So if you don't like Katy Perry and you're wondering what me and Tim are talking about and you think we sound crazy, go listen to that Teenage Dream album. Regardless of your music taste, you'll hear that is probably top Katy Perry.
Yeah, well, in fact, we did a Katy Perry episode. It was my episode.
We did. Tim taught everybody that he does listen to music that came after 1992 or something.
Well, I mean, I was probably, if I'm being completely honest with you, I was probably drawn in by aesthetics, but I do like the music.
At least you're honest about it. I love now one thing that's controversial that's the Bon Appetit. That was the song. That song was terrible. And that Harley's in Hawaii was really bad. But I absolutely love this. Was not a single. It's the most ridiculous song ever. And if you know exactly what she's singing about. The song Peacock.
Yep.
I was obsessed with that song, Tim. I listened to it nonstop for probably like 2 years straight. If you never heard it, go listen to it.
There we go.
All right, Tim. We're probably getting close to the end of the time we have, but where would you like to take it from here?
Okay, well, we're going to end the episode with this one. This is one that I added to the list recently, and the reason that I added it is because in previous bands where I used this playlist, we played the song, but we don't play this in any bands I'm in at the moment, so I've added it to the list. And this would be a song we've spoken about before, and this is Bruno Mars and Uptown Funk.
Which was everywhere to the point, I feel like at one point in time, Uptown Funk was rivaling the Macarena for the random events that it could be played at. Like, I have distinct memories of like it be on Ellen and like the USA TV, you know what I mean, Tim? Like, it was everywhere. And it's a Mark Ronson song. Mark Ronson, once again, just like Max Martin, has the ability to do really good, like, you know what I mean, hits that really sell. And it is a fun song, but I will say, I got so burnt out of this song.
Yes.
It was everywhere. You played it, didn't you say you've played this song a few times?
Yeah, I played it and in fact recorded a demo version of it.
It is fun though. I can listen to it again now, but for when it came out, I could never. I probably listened to it 1,000 times when it first came out, and then I was like, I can't ever hear this again. It was like I just seem to remember him performing on Ellen. I remember probably the president dancing to Uptown. You know what I mean? It was like that high. It was almost like the Macarena all over again. It really was. Now, here's a question for you. Was the Macarena phenomenon strictly an American phenomenon, or was it a universal phenomenon?
No,
I don't
it was
know.
universal. And in fact, as I said before, when the times I used to go to Sweden, on the Swedish equivalent of MTV, they had the Joy Mix, the Christmas version of the Macarena.
Sure. That is true. Tim has said that. Because for those who are youths or have no clue what we're talking about, there's a year in time where apparently everybody from the president to the Supreme Court to people in England were dancing the Macarena, which is literally a song. Go ahead,
Los
Tim.
Del Rio's Macarena.
It's literally a song about cheating on don't you tell my boyfriend the boy said it's it's literally the topic of the song is hilarious when you look at it at its surface level. I also saw something recently, and I agree with this, Tim. I do not think that music is like the language you're singing in makes no difference to me. Either it's a groove or it's a groove, right? But I saw something recently where somebody was making a comment about not wanting to hear music from a different language or something. And someone goes, I don't want to hear you talk about not dancing to music from another language if you ever did the Macarena. And it made me laugh really hard. All right. Well, with that being said, Tim, what would you like to leave the people with?
Okay, so another thing, if you are a unsigned artist, and you would like to promote your music on the No Name Music Cast, I think what I'm going to start doing is start doing a little bit of a music review and then tacking the song on the end of the podcast. Yeah, last year we had a lot of people contact us and we didn't really have a good place for it to go. But I've been thinking about it. I think it might be a nice thing to do to feature some unsigned music. So if you are an unsigned artist, please send us an email to nonamemusiccastpodcast@gmail.com. All of our social stuff is at the beginning of the episode. Get in touch with us. Send us your MP3 file. We will give it a quick review and we will play it on this podcast for you.
Also, if you may have had a 2012 Prius and lived in Southwest Virginia and left your CD and you are an unsigned artist in that 2012 Prius, my husband may have in fact just reset the battery and that CD started. What's the song, Tim?
What was it? It was
Tim found it.
Where was it, Joy? I sent it to you earlier.
On the messengers. Hold on. It's real, guys. We didn't make this up. But anyway, while we're looking it up,
It's the Oreo Cookie Blues by Lonnie Mack.
It was a remake of the Oreo Cookie Blues by Lonnie Mack, and you had recorded a version and got it stuck in a Prius CD player that no one's been able to access since 2012. Well, it works now, and I have now heard your version. I don't know what to think of it, but it does exist. So if you're a local musician and would like that played at the end of one of our episodes, give Tim a call. It was so funny, though. For those, like, literally, that's what happened. We had to replace the Prius battery in my husband's Prius. There was a CD that has been jammed in the CD player for, I don't know. They reset the battery, Tim, and the music just starts playing. So anyway, and then Tim went down a rabbit hole to find what the song was. So there we are.
There we go.
All right. Well, with that being said, was there anything else you wanted to say, Tim?
No, that's all I've got. Just be kind to everyone that you meet.
I agree. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To remind me of another day to